From Washington, D.C., this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Hena Zuberi. First, the headlines. A car drives into Christmas parade in Wisconsin, killing 5, injuring 48. Muslim prosecutor sues Orange County for sexual and racial harassment by former supervisor. Indian Muslim leaders urge government to withdraw anti-Muslim CAA. Hate crime investigation underway after man grabs woman's hijab at Maryland University. Norway and UAE are safest countries in the world. Our top story tonight, an SUV plowed into a crowd Sunday at a Christmas parade in Wisconsin, killing 5 people and injuring more than 40. Authorities said that the incident occurred at 5 p.m. Central Time in the city of Waukesha. Video footage on social media showed people panicking and some were seen lying on the ground. Waukesha Police Chief Dan Thompson identified the driver as Daryl Brooks, 39, and said that he was not being pursued by the police when he drove his red SUV into the parade on Sunday. Daryl Brooks will be charged with intentional homicide, police said Monday. Thompson said a police officer fired at the suspect's vehicle to stop it. No bystanders were injured. Waukesha School District canceled classes on Monday. A Muslim deputy district attorney is accusing a former high-level supervisor of sexual harassment and racial remarks. In a civil discrimination lawsuit against Orange County, California, the female attorney also accuses District Attorney Todd Spitzer of retaliation. The attorney, referred to as Jane Doe 3, claims Spitzer promoted former Senior Assistant District Attorney Gary Logalbo despite his history of sexually harassing female employees. An independent report previously found Logalbo harassed 4 female attorneys under his supervision. Logalbo is a former roommate of Spitzer and was the best man at his wedding. This lawsuit claims that since the allegations against Logalbo came to light, Spitzer has embarked on a campaign of retaliation against the plaintiff and others for blowing the whistle. A U.S. federal appeals court has dismissed a lawsuit against a border agent accused of wrongfully detaining a young man for hours in a cold cell at a Detroit International Bridge. In a 2-1 decision, the court said Friday a key legal precedent that applies to questionable behavior by federal agents has not been applied at the border. Anas Al-Hadi, a Muslim U.S. citizen, was detained at the Ambassador Bridge while returning to Michigan from Canada in 2015. He said officers took his coat and shoes, leaving him only in his shirt, pants, and socks. Al-Hadi said he shivered uncontrollably and was taken to a hospital by ambulance after 4 hours. Senate Republicans have again blocked Dilawar Syed, President Joe Biden's nominee for Deputy Administrator of the Small Business Administration. For the 5th time, Republican senators refused to allow a committee vote on Wednesday. Republican members of the Senate Small Business Committee skipped the vote for Syed, preventing the quorum needed to conduct business. That likely means Syed's chances of confirmation are over, at least for now. Wednesday's meeting is supposed to be the committee's last for the year. The White House would have to resubmit Syed's nomination in the new year. President Biden first nominated Syed in March. If confirmed, he would become the highest-ranking Muslim official in the administration. The University of Maryland Baltimore County Police are investigating a reported hate bias crime. The school told CBS Baltimore that a Muslim student reported that a stranger tried to pull off her hijab Tuesday night at the Commons Student Activity Hub. There are no reports available on the suspect or any charges at this time. UMBC's Office of Equity and Division of Student Affairs have reached out to the student, the Muslim Students Association, and other students affected. The school has also arranged a care space for dialogue on Monday. We'll be discussing this hate crime in detail with Ruqayya Dasti from UMBC, so stay tuned. In international news today, buoyed by the success of Indian farmers repealing 3 farm laws last week, Muslim leaders on Friday demanded the withdrawal of the contentious Citizenship Amendment Act, or CAA. Jamaat-e-Islami Hind President Sayyid Sadatullah Hussaini urged the government to look at other anti-people and anti-constitutional laws like the CAA. Jamiat Ulama al-Hind Chief Arshad Madani said that the CAA movement encouraged farmers to rally against farm laws. Farmers across India have been protesting the laws for more than a year. President of Majlis-e-Mushawarat, Naved Hamid, said that all draconian laws need to be withdrawn. Dozens of Jewish settlers called for revenge against Arabs at a Sunday rally in the old city of occupied East Jerusalem. This was after an attack by a Palestinian man left 1 settler dead. Settlers hung an Israeli flag at the site of Omariya Elementary School in the Muslim quarter of the old city and chanted slogans of revenge against Arabs. Israeli police said earlier 3 people, including 2 police officers, were also wounded in the attack. The assailant was reportedly shot dead at the scene. The old city is in the Israeli-annexed eastern parts of Jerusalem, where Palestinians claim the capital of their future state. Some 200,000 Israelis live in East Jerusalem alongside 300,000 Palestinians. Sudan's top general Abdel Fattah al-Burhan on Sunday signed a deal with Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok to transition to civilian rule. This was nearly a month after a military coup. The 14-point deal signed at the presidential palace in Khartoum provides for the reinstatement of Hamdok as prime minister and the release of civilian leaders. An Egyptian court has sentenced an 80-year-old man to 5 years in prison over his remarks on early Islamic conquest, according to news reports. Ahmed Abdu Maher was found guilty of contempt of Islam, stirring up sectarian rife, and posting a threat to national unity. In speeches, writings, and TV appearances, Maher said early Islamic conquests were military invasions. He called on Egypt's top Islamic institution, Al-Azhar University, to apologize on behalf of the companions of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and them all, who led the raids. Poland's Muslim Tatar community continues to deliver humanitarian aid to refugees stuck at the border, despite supporting calls to build a wall to contain their influx. Located about 4 miles from the Belarusian border, the Polish village of Bohonik is the historic and cultural center of the Tatar community. Most of its population of 5,000 is Muslim. Maciej Szczesnowicz is a local leader of the Tatars. He has also placed a large banner in the support of Polish security forces deployed along the border with Belarus. He has 2 children. One of them is in the army deployed in the region. For months, the area has been seen an influx of hundreds of Syrian and Afghani and Iraqi refugees trying to enter the European Union. Norway and the United Arab Emirates ranked amongst the top safest countries in the world, according to a Gallup poll. The US was rated 22nd in law and order ranking. The index is a composite score based on Gallup's World Poll questions. The survey asked people whether they are confident in their local police, feel safe in their neighborhoods, or were victims of theft or assault in the past year. The UAE is the only Muslim country amongst the top 5 safest countries. Indonesia, the largest Muslim country, ranked 29th, and Pakistan, the second largest Muslim country, ranked 40th. India came in at 56th, below Burma. Ajaz Rafiq, a former English cricketer who claimed he lost his career to racism, admitted on Thursday that he sent anti-Semitic messages as a teenager. The Times newspaper uncovered messages sent to former Warwickshire and Leicestershire player Atiq Javed. Rafiq made disparaging comments about an unnamed Jewish person. Tweeting about those comments on Thursday, Rafiq said that he had absolutely no excuses and that he was ashamed of the exchange. Those messages have since been deleted, the 30-year-old cricketer added. Rafiq was 19 at the time he wrote those messages and said he's a different person today. Coming up next after the break is our in-depth analysis segment on a hate crime in University of Maryland. So stay tuned and we'll be right back after these messages.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
They took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back. We'll be speaking to Ruqayya Dasti, who is the Vice President of the Muslim Student Association at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, where a young woman was assaulted when her hijab was pulled off by a man on campus. Cases like these are common. In October, a teacher allegedly yanked a hijab off a Muslim student in New Jersey. What does it feel like to be stripped of your clothing? What does this feel like to be a young Muslim woman in a school where this has happened? To discuss this and more, let's welcome Ruqayya.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you so much for being here. Ruqayya, walk us through what happened on your campus.
So on Thursday night, in the evening, a woman was in the commons. This is the eating area, the congregating area for students on campus. And somebody approached her and attempted to rip her scarf off her head, and was successful. This was somebody she had not spoken to before. She did not know who this person was, and she felt violated and instantly reported it to campus police. Campus police notified the Office of Equity and Inclusion on campus, and they reached out to us, the Muslim Student Association cabinet, which includes me, and we instantly thought of what to do in this situation. Luckily, the school has been supportive and has taken action, although the investigation is still open. So we don't have all of the facts about the investigation, and right now it's unknown to us who the woman is and who the perpetrator was.
The school has responded in a supportive manner. How has the school community responded? How have other students, have you heard from other student organizations, as well as students on campus?
So the school has definitely been responsive. They released a school-wide statement informing everyone of the issues. And one of the most interesting things that I found, or very telling, is that people were very surprised to see that something like this could happen at UMBC in Baltimore, one of the most diverse and seemingly very inclusive and open universities. A lot of people who hear about this, they are just shocked that it could happen in a place like this. But unfortunately for Muslim students, there were many people that were not surprised, people who, didn't have the same shock or stunned expression on their faces when they heard about it. There was a lot of anger, a lot of frustration. And, people, as upset as they weren't surprised.
So how has your Muslim Student Association planned to channel some of those feelings of anger and to give support to your constituency? What else have you planned for your MSA community?
So right now, we've worked very immediately. Today we had what was considered like a community gathering space, a solidarity vigil, if you could call it that. We basically wanted to speak about what the issue was and how this is a very big thing. Luckily, the president of our school showed up. We had the chancellor of the Universities of Maryland also give a statement. And so the first thing that we wanted to do before anything was to show that we are there for her and for any other individual who's faced discrimination or hate on this campus or anywhere. And from there, we talked about increasing vigilance, and we have an event on self-defense for women. But more broadly, we've been fighting for a space, a community space on campus, an issue that we were dealing with earlier in the semester. And we've kind of used this to push for that, because when we don't have a community and when there's not a safe space for people to pray, things like this can happen. And we think that this is an indicator that more than ever, we need a safe space on campus, a place for us to nurture our community and our environments. And so that is what we're going to look forward to doing for the rest of the semester and the rest of the year as a cabinet and a Muslim student body.
That's great news. I know you've been working hard on getting a space to pray. Now we've talked about the discrimination aspect of this, the hate crime aspect of this. Let's talk about grabbing a hijab and pulling it off as sexual assault. When this happens to a Muslim woman, what does she go through? Hijab is a piece of clothing for those of us who cover. So let's talk about grabbing or taking off of a hijab in a sexual and the sexual assault component of this.
So I think many Muslim women who wear hijab, who wear the headscarf, can agree with this. When we wear the hijab, it gives us a sense of control over ourselves and also control over our body. So when somebody pulls off our headscarf, it is probably the most humiliating experience because we feel exposed, we feel violated, and we feel dehumanized. And, it is as if you're taking off any article of clothing. It's a form of assault. And, when we talk about hijab, it's not just that piece of scarf. It is part of our identity. So you're not just ripping off somebody's clothing. You're ripping away their identity, and something that should be taken very seriously. It is a form of assault. And to take off any clothing off of anybody's body could be considered a sexual assault. And for this is the most violating, the most I would say exposing form of discrimination that you could put upon a woman.
No, those are powerful words, Ruqayya. Thank you so much. Keep safe. And I definitely agree with this young woman that this is, having your hijab ripped off might not seem that big to people outside our community who don't know what it feels like, who don't know what the scarf means to us. So very powerful words. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
That's all from our Washington studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can find more episodes and on our YouTube and Facebook. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum and good night.